Shot in 4K ultra high definition. Your number one source for local news. WRAL News. Coverage you can count on.
Another round of storms is likely this afternoon. We have a level 1 risk for most of the viewing area. I'll walk you through the timeline.
And storms brought damage with them, toppling trees and causing traffic backups. The cleanup happening today.
Also, a man is in the hospital and another man is under arrest after a stabbing in South Raleigh. The two crime scenes police investigated. 4:30 is the time right here on your Monday. So glad you're joining us for news here as we get your week started. I'm Jeff Hogan.
And I'm Renee Chu. Great to have you with us on this Monday, and great to have meteorologist Elizabeth Gardner back with us this morning. And of course, you got to tell us about some severe risks.
Yes, we have a level 1 risk for most of the viewing area. It doesn't include the southern counties, but it doesn't mean that you won't see some scattered storms there. It's just a little more likely that we'll have some severe storms from the Triangle area northward. And we did have a round yesterday. Of course, we had some damage there in Johnston County, which we'll talk more about coming up. But we'll roll through, and it's a nice quiet start out there. Boy, I walked in, gorgeous moon. It's actually full tomorrow, but it looks so pretty. At 3 o'clock, we're still on the dry side, but between 3 and 5, we start to see this little line of showers and storms developing. It's just a little more likely near the Virginia line than it would be on the severe side. We take a look outside this morning. Again, we're mostly clear currently. 69 is the temperature, and the dew point's down to 65. That's really going to be our big story this week. We're going to see a nice drop in our temperature and our dew point. We'll see a high this afternoon of 88. I'll walk you through that dew point change coming up.
Breaking news we're following this morning. A man is in the hospital after a stabbing. An investigation is taking place at two scenes in South Raleigh right now. He was stabbed there, and the video from the WRAL Breaking News Tracker shows that police responded to Marble Street just after 11 p.m. That's where they found a man with stab wounds. He was taken to the hospital. He is expected to be okay. Police were also investigating a gas station on South Saunders Street nearby at the same time. It's not clear at this time exactly what happened there, but a man is in custody for that attack.
Today, we could get an update on Springfield Middle School. The Wilson County School was badly damaged when an EF3 tornado hit it earlier this month. WRAL's Laura Levine joins us live from Lucama. And Laura, the school board is working on a plan to restore the school.
Renee, it was less than 2 weeks ago when that EF3 tornado touched down here in Lucama, and being there on the first day to now, it really is amazing, I have to say, to see how far they've come. Behind me, you can see there is a fence blocking part of the school here on the roof. There's caution tape, cones, so still a work in progress. But today, the superintendent, Lane Mills, he says he will share more on this progress, getting the school back open to students. The 6th and 7th grade wings of the school suffered immense damage to the walls and roof, and the classrooms and other rooms on those wings are total loss. A builder service of NC has been working to remove excess water and secure the roof and walls that were damaged. The company determined 75% of the structure is safe and that students can return at the start of the school year, which begins next Monday. They plan to bring in mobile units and also utilize the 8th grade wing and core of the school while the two damaged wings are rebuilt.
When you walk in, it's be very little drywall left. The roof is being temporarily repaired right now to keep moisture out. But it is very heavily damaged, and it'll be walled off where you won't be able to access it.
So in that special meeting last week, they said the 6th and 7th wings will be blocked and fenced off while school is in session. We know orientations are still scheduled to go on this week, starting tomorrow at Lucama Middle School. Laura Levine, WRAL News, live in Lucama.
The woman accused of helping to hide an escaped convicted murderer is expected in court today. Jacobia Crisp is in jail right now, expected to make her first court appearance in Orange County. She's charged with aiding and abetting a convicted murderer in his escape from prison. Ramon Alston was arrested in Kannapolis after a 3-day manhunt. He was behind bars for killing a 1-year-old in Chapel Hill. Investigators have not said how he escaped custody.
The Democratic National Convention kicks off today in Chicago. This is a live look inside the United Center, the site of the convention. Vice President Kamala Harris and her running mate, Minnesota Governor Tim Walz, are set to formally accept their party's nomination. President Biden is expected to kick off the convention as the keynote speaker tonight. Other speakers include former presidents Barack Obama and Bill Clinton. Harris will cap off the convention Thursday night after she is formally named the Democratic nominee.
Protests have already begun ahead of the DNC, and this demonstration was organized by Bodies Outside of Unjust Laws, a coalition of feminist, LGBTQ, and pro-Palestinian groups. Protesters held banners and signs that read "Free Palestine." They're calling for a ceasefire between Israel and Hamas in Gaza. This is just the first of what is expected to be many demonstrations in Chicago this week.
Donald Trump and his vice presidential nominee, J.D. Vance, will be in Asheboro this week. This will be the first time Vance will appear with Trump in North Carolina. The campaign says the two will deliver remarks on national security at the North Carolina Aviation Museum at 2 p.m. Wednesday.
Ernesto is a hurricane once again after gaining strength while moving away from Bermuda. The storm is expected to weaken back into a tropical storm by Tuesday morning as it heads east of Newfoundland. Life-threatening surf and rip currents are possible along the East Coast for the next few days. This past weekend, we had more than 40 rescues due to rip currents just along our southern coastline. Most of those were at Wrightsville Beach, according to the National Weather Service in Wilmington.
Part of the beach at Rodanthe will be closed for the next few days after a house collapsed into the surf. We first showed you this video Friday. A home on Corbina Drive in Rodanthe washed into the ocean. Crews have been cleaning up the debris since Saturday.
One man is dead. 7 others are hospitalized after a mass shooting in Baltimore last night. Police say the people shot range in age from 22 to 46. Some are stable, others are in critical condition. They say it happened near a park in East Baltimore. Police say there was some sort of gathering when several people opened fire. It's not known how many shooters there were.
One person is dead. 2 others are in the hospital after a high-speed chase ended in a crash in Cumberland County. This started just after 11:30 Saturday night. Highway Patrol says an Acura was going 110 miles an hour on State Highway 87 in Harnett County. A trooper started chasing after it. The driver made it to Spring Lake, then drove around traffic that was stopped at a red light. The car then crashed into a Honda Accord, killing the passenger of that car. The Honda's driver is at Cape Fear Valley Hospital with serious injuries. The Highway Patrol tells us the driver of the car they were chasing, 25-year-old Darren Powell, is in critical condition at UNC Hospital. He is also a murder suspect in the 2023 shooting death of Barbara Adair in Cumberland County. Troopers say they believe alcohol was a factor.
There are new concerns about polio spreading in Gaza. The UN's plans to get more people there vaccinated.
And a nonprofit is helping Florida's ecosystem while also helping veterans. How hunting for pythons is helping them adapt to post-service life.
And this is a live look in Apex this morning. It'll be a dry start. We do have a level 1 risk for storms tonight. Meteorologist Elizabeth Gardner will tell us about a risk for wind damage headed our way.
From the WRAL Severe Weather Center, North Carolina's most experienced team of meteorologists.
It's 4:41. It's a nice quiet morning out there. We take a live look at Durham. It is 69 degrees. Raleigh at 69, and it's 72 over in Fayetteville. So feeling pretty comfortable in some places. When you step out the door, you'll notice it doesn't feel quite as heavy as it did last week, for example. So looking at some afternoon and evening thunderstorms. Should be pretty late in the day, starting around the time of the evening commute. So if you're out walking the dog, starting around 5 o'clock or so, you might run into a storm. Still going to be a warm afternoon, looking at 88 degrees, but that's going to put us a little closer to normal. We have some below normal temperatures in our forecast over the next few days and a nice drop in our humidity. So coming up, we'll talk about how that will feel, and we'll also take a look at where Ernesto is headed next.
Good morning, Chris Levingood here in the WRAL Live Center. I have my eye right now on a situation that we're looking into. This is on I-85 North. This is north of Durham, and it's at the MLK Boulevard there, or Avenue, I should say, the exit that's there. And it has that road closed. We know that there was a semi-truck that hit a car that was actually sitting in the middle of the roadway, and the car overturned. Now, no reported injuries on this just yet. Again, the road is closed right now. We do know there are tow trucks in that area trying to remove the car that was hit. Still trying to get more specifics on why that car was just kind of sitting there. Maybe someone left it there. It was abandoned, not quite sure, but we're still trying to get more information on that. As soon as we have an update on when that road reopens, we'll report it here on the WRAL Live Center.
Chris, thanks. Take a look at some of the damage from yesterday's storms. These trees are on Sanders Road and Old Tree Court in Willow Spring. More than 800 customers in that community were without power last night. You can be a WRAL weather watcher. Show us what conditions are like where you live. If you have a photo or video to share with us, go to WRAL.com/weatherwatchers. We may share it on TV or feature it online.
The threat of polio is on the rise in Gaza. One case has been confirmed. Several others are suspected. The virus was found in wastewater in 6 different locations last month, and aid groups are now calling for a pause to the Israel-Hamas war so they can ramp up vaccinations for the virus. Polio was eradicated in Gaza 25 years ago, but vaccinations have fallen since the war began 10 months ago. The UN says it is trying to bring 1.6 million doses of the polio vaccine into Gaza.
Police are investigating after 2 shootings happened outside a training facility at Joint Base San Antonio. Authorities say someone fired shots at Air Force security stationed outside the Texas training facility early Sunday. About 3 hours later, a car pulled up outside the same gate and someone shot at security again. Service members returned fire at the vehicle before it left. No one was hurt, and so far no one is in custody.
A Georgia deputy is dead after being ambushed and shot following a domestic dispute. The suspect later died by suicide. Around 6:15 Saturday night, deputies were responding to a home in Hiram, Georgia, about 35 minutes from Atlanta. They were met there with immediate gunfire. 30-year-old Deputy Brandon Cunningham was shot and later died. Officials say a woman was also shot during that incident. She was taken to the hospital and is doing okay. Officials say the suspect died by suicide after barricading himself inside the home. An investigation continues.
A cyclist is in the hospital after being hit by a car in Raleigh. You're looking at video from the scene on East Lane Street at the Person Street intersection. Police tell us the driver hit the cyclist, seriously injuring that person. Now, the driver did remain at the scene. No word yet on any charges.
Now, this next video you'll want to see. A violent thunderstorm caused a bounce house to fly into the air in Alabama. It was all caught on video there. Look at that thing go. Powerful storm appeared to catch everyone by surprise. People were running for cover there in the heavy rain. And it happened, the bounce house goes airborne, rolls down the street. Fortunately, no one was hurt.
Covering Wake County, with home prices steadily increasing, home ownership feels like a dream out of reach for many. The city of Raleigh is working with nonprofits to try and make the dream a reality. The Raleigh Area Land Trust purchases the land and then sells the home to low or moderate income families. More than a year ago, James Watson became the first person who bought a home through the Land Trust. The lifelong maintenance worker has struggled to buy a home.
I never thought that I would be able to afford one.
We sell the house and retain ownership of the land. That also has the benefit of keeping that model keeps the property affordable permanently by taking land out of the equation, also brings the purchase price down for the current buyer.
Raleigh Area Land Trust sold 2 homes in Southeast Raleigh in 2023. Now they have 22 units in the development process. The nonprofit needs to build up its donor base to fund their program work and operations. Donations can be made directly through its website, RALT.org.
Garner police are looking for the driver who hit a person and then drove off. This all happened Saturday night on Benson Road. Police tell us the woman was walking on the side of the road near Forest Landing Drive when she was hit by a car. She had to go to the hospital for serious injuries. Police believe the driver was in a black Honda Pilot with a missing passenger side mirror. If you see it or have any information, call Garner Police.
North Carolina students may not have school-issued laptops in the future. Most school systems and charter schools say they don't have the money to replace the laptops once they break down. Schools bought most of them during the COVID-19 pandemic using the temporary federal stimulus package, spending hundreds of millions of dollars. That money has almost run out. Find out more about what schools are doing now at the education section of WRAL.com.
Former service members are lending their training to hunt down invasive pythons infiltrating the Florida Everglades. Now, Burmese pythons have been causing chaos throughout the Florida Everglades for years. U.S. Geological Survey says the snakes have led to massive declines in small animal populations in the area. A nonprofit group of veterans called Swamp Apes is venturing out into more remote areas of the Everglades. The activity is meant to help veterans adapt to post-service life and establish community, all while also combating the invasive snakes.
We go deep in the swamp. We have kind of that dual purpose. We want to catch the pythons, and we want to have those veterans' endorphins flowing to get those brains cycling back the right way. And you don't do that sitting in a car.
That can certainly happen in the swamp, I guess. Swamp Apes members scoping out brush for the creatures involves skills similar to life on military patrols, they tell us. Through last year, Florida officials report more than 18,000 pythons have been removed from the wild.
Takes a certain kind to just grab those pythons and just get them out of there. Good for them. Meteorologist Elizabeth Gardner in the WRAL Severe Weather Center tracking our next round of storms and the big picture for that. Elizabeth.
Yeah, we're going to grab this front. It's going to push out some of the humidity that we've been dealing with, and that's going to feel refreshing for us. This front also is likely to bring us the potential for a few scattered thunderstorms. We do have a level 1 risk for severe storms this evening, and then after that, our humidity is going to drop. It already feels a little bit more pleasant out there this morning. This is a look at our level 1 risk. It's going to be the northern part of Cumberland and Sampson counties, and then everybody northward. We could see some damaging straight line winds. We did see some damage in some spots yesterday, especially in Johnston County. We'll talk more about that coming up. This morning, notice that front's very slowly sliding eastward. We'll see one more round of some scattered storms, and then we should start to see a nice change in our air mass. This is going to be a fairly late arrival. Notice Roxborough at around 5 o'clock, at around 6, 7, 8 o'clock, right through the triangle. And then it kind of fizzles out by the time we get to 9 or 10 as it slides on down into some of our southern counties. Of course, yesterday we ended up with a beautiful rainbow. You may have seen it too. Michelle Smith sent us this from Wendell. Gorgeous late yesterday. We may see more of that possibly today as we see that last little line coming through. If you have a photo you'd like to send us, go to WRAL.com, search Weather Watchers, and we'll try to put that on TV. It's mostly clear in downtown Raleigh right now, feeling a little more comfortable with 69 and a dew point of 65. So we've already seen the front come through, but we'll see another push of some drier air that comes in the next couple of days. It's clear this morning, so we have the tower lit there in blue. I'm sorry we don't have it turned around. It's kind of hard to catch the moon, but it's beautiful out there. It's actually full tonight, and it's at perigee, which means it's at its closest point in its orbit to the Earth. And this is going to be the first of 4 supermoons. So we'll see it this month as well as, so it's August, September, October, and November. So 4 months in a row we'll have a supermoon. It appears 30% brighter, but it only appears 7% larger. So it looks bright up there. Looks absolutely beautiful. Hopefully you can catch it tonight. Raleigh 88, 86 Durham, 89 in Fayetteville. It's pretty out there right there this morning as well. Watch what happens to our muggy meter. We're going to see it really take a dive for Wednesday and Thursday, but it starts to drop off nicely later on this afternoon, and it stays nice and low for us. We're going to see 59 on Thursday morning. It's going to feel like September. That's a normal low in September, but it's going to feel great by Wednesday morning, 62, 61 Friday, 62 Saturday. So once these temperatures start to drop, we're going to see that for most of the work week. Now, it does look like potentially we get back into some 90s next week, but enjoy this pretty weather while we have it. We'll take a look at what's happening along the coast with our rip currents in just a little bit.
Thanks, Elizabeth. Check out this Ferris wheel. Caught fire in Germany. More than 20 people were injured.
And another record broken by Caitlin Clark, her accomplishment during her game against the Seattle Storm. Welcome back. This is a live look at Wilson and the whirly gigs, and a few of them are moving there in the very slight breeze there. You're watching WRAL News, available on Spectrum and YouTube TV. 100 people were treated for heat-related illness at a Colorado air show over the weekend. This happened at the Pikes Peak Regional Air Show in Colorado Springs. Officials say 10 people were taken to the hospital. Many others were moved indoors to cool down.
All right, take a look at this. At least 23 people were injured when a Ferris wheel caught on fire in Germany. This happened Saturday night. Officials say that fire started in one of the Ferris wheel's gondolas and spread to a second one. 4 people were burned and someone else was injured after they fell. Others, including first responders and police officers, were treated for smoke inhalation. An investigation into what started the fire is underway.
Taylor Swift is still ruling the charts. Here's David Daniel with today's Hollywood Minute.
All my mornings are Mondays stuck in an endless February.
Taylor Swift's latest reign atop the Billboard 200 album chart seems endless. The Tortured Poets department is #1 for a 15th week. That ties Carole King's Tapestry for the third most weeks in the top spot for women, behind only Adele's 21 and the Whitney Houston-led soundtrack for The Bodyguard.
Hi everyone, how are you feeling?
Bebe Rexha is not feeling good about Lufthansa. The singer posted on Instagram she was mentally abused by a security agent for the airline after asking him a question in Albanian. Rexha was born in the U.S. to Albanian parents and said she thought the agent was Albanian. A Lufthansa spokesperson says an internal review is underway and the airline does not tolerate any discriminatory behavior of any kind. In Hollywood, I'm David Daniel.
Add another record to the books for Caitlin Clark. She broke the WNBA single-season rookie record for assists during the Indiana Fever's win over the Seattle Storm. Clark, who leads the WNBA with assists, had 9 yesterday. This put her at 232, passing the previous record of 224 set in 1998.
Storms wrought damage with them from Raleigh to Benson, the areas where cleanup will be happening this morning.
And a man is in the hospital. Another man is in custody after stabbing in South Raleigh. The large police investigation this prompted.
Wake County leaders are considering a new way to help the community's homeless population. The changes proposed to shelters that open during the winter months.